While many consultants have in the past looked at the national carrier in an attempt to turn it around, the current depressed economic growth rate may force the government's hand.
And one wonders if they'll be able to roll out loan or open up more credit lines, etc. We're in a junk rating status that changes the credit quality of any credit that gets negotiated, and in it all with an institution that it needs better governance, needs to be more profitable.
There is almost no time in SAA's history that it has been an impressive asset. In recent decades, the carrier has had years in which it's put in reasonable performance, but those years are few and far between.
It's all about return on assets and return on equity.
It's already carrying debt that it can't afford. So to take on more debt to fund a balance sheet that is already underperforming, to me it just doesn't seem like, that's not how you turn around businesses. The entire entity needs a complete rethink, a revisit.
While some analysts suggest there's a difference between a private or public sector business, Saville contends otherwise if the business was offered to a buyer.
If you gave them SAA as an entity and said, how are you going to fix this? I don't think their response would be more of the same, or let's take on more debt to fund more of the same. It would be a spectacular rethink, and that might be about consolidation of the brands, it might be about closing routes, it might be about operating aspects. It's a heavily staffed airline. So there's many attributes, but I don't think the response would be more of the same by a different owner.
It's been suggested that it's time for the government to be firm.
The new finance minister is now given an opportunity to make tough decisions. So while it be, I think there's a need and there is room to reconsider an outcome where it's not really privatizing, but it's public-private sector contributions that could come to assist in this situation. It would be very dire should they draw down further on the guarantees, and at worst to top it up with more bailouts, which will exacerbate the guarantee situation.
Confidence levels are low that government will cut its losses, despite the overwhelming evidence.
It's hard to see, given the long sweep of this carrier's history, how it's likely to turn around and transform and suddenly become a viable, robust, profitable business that sweats the balance sheet.
Analysts agree that things can't stay the same at SAA because it's a drain on the national fiscus. It's now up to the country's finance minister to make a decision. I'm Angelo Coppola for CGTN in Sandton, Johannesburg.